Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Redlands. My name is Joe. I will be leading you on this guided meditation this morning. So let me invite you to take a nice deep inhalation through the nose with me as we close our outer eyes. Hold. And release. Exhale out the mouth. Let us repeat this pattern of breathing. Breathing in through the nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhale out the mouth as the belly contracts. As we continue this pattern of breathing without resistance, with no effort, just let it flow naturally. Feel the rise and fall. Allowing our breathing to grow deeper. Allowing our shoulders to relax, our body muscles to relax. With each in-breath and every out-breath, just allow those muscles, all that tension that you may be holding, to just melt away, drain out like a tire deflating. Just feel all of that pulling out with every out-breath, every exhalation. Just feel that tension and anxiety just being dispelled from your body. Muscles relaxing, mind relaxing as we focus our attention on our breathing. Centering ourselves in this oneness with spirit, with the universe, universal mind, whatever you choose to call it. I call it God. As we know our individual God essence, knowing we are pure spirit, unified with this divine mind, God, spirit, intelligence, energy. We harness it, we control it. We are the masters of our universe. Knowing only now peace, serenity, calm, as this universal mind, this intelligence is benevolent in nature, it is creative, it is a divine force. It is a healing energy. Known only when we realize the truth of its being, that is our being. As each and every one of us is an incarnation of this divine mind, spirit made flesh. We are. I am. You may wish to repeat that softly to yourself or in your mind. I am. In this context, in this knowing, as we feel the love, the divine protection that we are encloaked in, always, as we simply open up and surrender to this power, this presence, this force, this energy that always yields to the thought we impress upon it. Thought is action. Action is results. We choose what those results are. Let us know the good, the power of love, power of surrender to this love. Self-love, God-love, love of others, everywhere, every moment, always. Let us know this truth that sets us free. Let us forgive ourselves, forgive others, and just live and be. Now, in this moment, in this knowing of truth, I surrender. Let us breathe. Keeping our attention focused on our breath, our breathing. Any distracting thoughts or noises, do not resist. Simply return your attention to your breathing, realizing this unification now with Divine Source. That Divine Source, that power, that presence that is whatever you choose to call it. Let us sink in, center, be still, and know I am. I am. In this surrendering to Spirit, to our knowingness, surrender all desire, accept the desire of thy grace, the grace of God. Or whatever you choose to call this higher source, this power. In thy grace, all else is provided for. All things needed provided for. As we walk with God in thy grace, visualize yourself walking in this light, in this radiant, vibrant Christ light. Feel it, see it now as it washes over you, absorbs into every pore, every cell, flowing, moving. This energy, this power, this source is you, me, all sentient beings, and it is reflected in everything. On this earth, across the vast expanses of this universe. that is infinite, abundant, always creating, recreating, flowing, moving in spirit. You are co-creators in this infinite, magnificent universe. Immortal, eternal, forever, spiraling upward into the divine light. See it, know it, so be it. So be it. I am grateful. For this knowing. So grateful. Now, join me as we bring our attention back to this place, this sacred space. And I invite you to join me in opening your outer eyes. This concludes our meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Buenos dias, everybody. Take a look at the person next to you. loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the love of each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Redlands. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube and here in our beautiful sanctuary out from the pouring, drenching rain that is kind of misty right now, but in June. This is happening in June. Put it on your calendars. My name is Eileen, and it is truly a privilege and an honor to welcome you to our Sunday celebrations service. CSL Redlands is a new thought community living an ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. The science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes studied truths from all the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths and developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into the world. CSL Redlands is an open and inclusive community honoring all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. No matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone, absolutely everyone. If you are here for the first time, raise your hand. Okay, we have our wonderful, beautiful, continuing members showing up here with us today. We know you have a choice for your spiritual community, and again, we are delighted to have you here with us today, everyone. A gentle reminder, silence your cell phones, put them away safely so that you may participate more fully. All right, we have some announcements. They are also in your bulletin. I'm just going to go over them briefly. 1 Minute Miracle, practitioners are available after service for prayer, and what can we know for your highest good? CSL Redlands Food Ministry provides sack lunches and hot meals to the homeless on Saturdays and also assists families by hosting food drives. The center is in need of volunteers to help prepare meals and distribute them to the homeless on Saturdays between 8:30 a.m. and noon, and also to help coordinate and work food drives as needed. Donations of lunch meat, mayonnaise, and mustard, plastic flatware, canned and boxed goods are all needed. To volunteer or donate food, contact Program Coordinator Joe Nelson. You saw him here earlier leading us in meditation. To volunteer, contact Joe, as I just said, and the phone number is here, or Jean Pagdalao, and she is right over there. Treatment and meditation class had its second week this past Thursday, and it is beautiful. I'm not sure if it is still open for people to join. I will check. You can always call and find out. If it is possible to join in at this point, I really encourage it because it's an incredible class. Beatifique, the first spoken word poetry, beatnik, boogie nights gathering happened this past Friday, and look at this. Woo! Talk about beatnik. I'm telling you. Berets. There were berets on everybody's head. It was incredible, and we had a wonderful time. I encourage you to join us this Friday. We'd like to see members from CSL Redlands. Okay, thank you very much for that. There we go. There's Reverend Caitlin. Look at her. And the Sonja right there. It was delightful. It was absolutely delightful. You really, really want to come. This Friday, 7 to 10, be here or be square. Metaphysical Fair coming Saturday, July 1st from 11 to 4 p.m. right here in the back there. You're going to love it. And the Summer Nights Drumming Circle, facilitated by Shamanic Reiki Drumming Master Debbie Nuzio Duro. $20 advanced registration is highly suggested. The Drum Circle, Saturday, July 16 at noon. And the Sound Bath, Saturday, July 29th at a time that is going to be figured out. And we might even share it with you at that point. Thank you also very much for being here. I love seeing you in this beautiful sanctuary of ours. Have a wonderful service.
All right, so thank you, Eileen. We're off on our adventure. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling through a world of your creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. If you want to change the world, there's nothing to it, right? There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free. But there's a proviso. If you truly want to be.
Thank you, Al. It was beautiful. Good morning. We have a, oh, there's the reading. Okay. Have to get prepared here. Let me ask you to just join me in a moment as we close our eyes for this opening invocation. I know that God is all there is. This power, this presence, this source that is my supply, my sufficiency. I choose to call this power God. You may choose to call it whatever it calls upon you to call it. But it is good in nature. It is always present. It is always near. It is always within. It is reflected in all things seen and unseen, in the beauty that surrounds us, that need not be far to be noticed and seen, in the mountains, the brooks, the ocean, the birds, all living things. It's reflected in the beauty of a poem, in the beauty of a work of art, a painting. We see this magnificent creative force manifesting into form via this creative power. This power that I harness, that I am unified with as a child of the Most High, an incarnation of Spirit, Source, infinite mind, infinite power, backed by these spiritual principles that we call love, peace, joy, calm, cloaked in divine protection. This power allows us to experience our greatest joys and carries us through our deepest sorrows and challenges and crises. It always provides, and it never fails. All we do is surrender to it. let it be. And I declare this for each and every one of you in this sanctuary this morning and all those watching online, knowing this power, this source, taking comfort in it. It opens us in our receptivity for the message to be delivered here by our spiritual director, Sonja Prince. And this knowingness and this truth, I can't help but just explain so much gratitude, so much love and appreciation for this spiritual community, this family, all you in the sanctuary and watching online. I feel the power. I feel the support. I feel the love. I feel the energy just vibrating and pulsating so high, so strong is this force that it breaches the walls of this sanctuary, resounds out into this community and beyond, into the universe, clinging to those receptive to it. And it comes back to us, it comes back to me, it comes back to you, multiplied abundantly in love, nurturing, creativity, it comforts. I am so thankful for our volunteers who work so hard and dedicate so much of their time and lives to this community, to David over there in our sound booth. Works so hard, so much of his time committed. It is so good. To Jean Paglidio, another one of our volunteers, just so committed. To Al Yankee, such a wonderful, gifted musician who blesses us with the music you hear now, vibrating, good, and love. You feel it, know it. To Gilman Carver, our spiritual director, to our board of directors, it is all good. And in this knowing, I just release this word and this truth and this blessing, these blessings for which I am so grateful. So be it. So it is. Well, our wisdom reading for today, its title just says wisdom reading, so I'm going to read it. The healing power of self-love should never be underestimated. I firmly believe that a person who truly loves themselves is a force to be reckoned with, powerful, passionate, and attractive. From this day forward, make a commitment to love yourself deeply, extravagantly, and unconditionally. Repeat affirmations of self-love, and remember, you are a new person, strong, enlightened, and awakened. You are free-spirited, charming, and enticing, with an effervescent personality. You have the power to enchant others with your exuberance and deep, soulful connections. Self-love breeds self-confidence, self-worth, self-respect, and self-forgiveness. It is the foundation of a fulfilling life. Don't ever apologize for the fire within you. Let it light your path and take you to the next level of self-discovery and self-love. You have the power to create and manifest all the things that light up your heart and set your soul on fire. Pursue the things that excite you and you will achieve mastery in any field that you choose. Remember, you are magic. The stars are rooting for you, and everything you want to pursue in your lifetime is part of the divine plan that you made for yourself. This message is brought to you by Mike Harrigan, creator and author. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, right. Let us embrace oneness and global consciousness as we continue on the journey of self-discovery and love.
Many years ago, I don't know, see if anybody else could remember this. Many years ago, there was a television show by the name of Harrigan. That's my key for this tune, but I don't know if I always love the theme song for it. Harrigan spells Harrigan. Anybody remember that? Okay, does it ring a bell? I don't know if it had anything to do with Mike Harrigan or not, but that ripped that off? Okay. Back when there were cigarette commercials. Oh, we are so old. Peace, light, love in me. In me. Here in the stillness of this quiet hour, sweet words of wisdom fill my ears. Your words like water keep my soul sustained. So let them rain, let them rain. Peace, light, love in me. I hold your presence here inside of me. I rest in knowing that you're here. Brighter than 1,000 stars across the sky. How you shine, how you shine. Peace, light,
and love in me, right?
Yeah.
And in you. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Redlands. I'm Sonja Prince, the spiritual director. And I know what you're thinking. We can't see her because she just fades into the tapestry. But that's just the way it is today. Thank you, Al. I love that. Peace, love, light within me. So, thank you all for joining us today here in the sanctuary and online, Facebook Live and YouTube. I sometimes like to start off with some humor. And today the joke is, one day a man opened his lunchbox at work and complained, "Another cheese sandwich. I am so sick of these cheese sandwiches." The next day again, he opened his lunch and said, "Cheese sandwich again? I'm going to die from these cheese sandwiches." Then the following, yet another, again he opened his bag, and lo and behold, what did he see? Another cheese sandwich. Finally, one of his co-workers said, "Why don't you tell your wife you don't like cheese sandwiches?" To which the man replied, "But I don't have a wife." His co-worker confusingly asked, "Well, then who makes these cheese sandwiches?" The man replied, "Well, I do." So how often do we complain about patterns in our life that we weave with our own hands rather than care for ourselves? How many of us keep those same patterns going around and around and around, and then we wonder why things aren't changing in our life? You know, they say the definition of insanity is what? I can't hear you. Doing the same thing over and over. And expecting different results. So today's talk title is about the evolution of self-care, and the theme of the month is embracing self-care. So I'm dressed like this because one of my ideas of self-care is getting my beach bag, putting on my hat, putting on my flip-flops, and going to the spa. I thought you thought I was going to say going to the beach. And going to the spa. And the first thing I do when I get there is I go check in and I find a comfortable place with a lounge chair. And I put my things, my book, my hat, my towel on the chair, and I leave it there so I can always come back to it when I'm done doing the other things that I want to do. So I dress like this today to illustrate that. That's one of the things that I like to do for self-care. So to live your life to the fullest, self-care must be embraced in a daily practice to help you remember who you are. You know, sometimes we get wrapped up in work and life and kids and spouses or whatever we got going on, and we forget that this is a temple of God, and we need to care for it. So Ernest Holmes says, "My body is not conscious of life, but my thought is conscious of my body. My thoughts operate upon my body." So having that self-awareness of your body temple, having that self-awareness of what you put in your, not only do how we care for our body, but how we care for our mind. Because in our teaching, we say that thoughts are, I can't hear you. Thoughts are things. So the scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians 6, chapter 19 verse, it says, "Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you? You are not your own. So glorify this body, this temple that is the housing of this Holy Spirit, of this God." So taking care of oneself is an essential aspect of being human, and it cultivates our personal growth. And so one of the things I want to talk about is how we show up authentically. And David is leaving. He's going in that room back there. But one of the things, so June is Pride Month. And I might be jumping around because sometimes I do that. But I wanted to get this out. June is Pride Month, and we have some nice flags on the table. And I wanted to say that in commemorating a Pride Month, I would like to express my admiration for those who have bravely embraced their true selves. And Ralph Waldo Emerson says, to be yourself in a world constantly trying to make you something else is a great accomplishment, right? And so I want to have a special shout out to David and Holly in their efforts of distributing these flags at our Redlands Morning Market. So thank you for that. But in this evolution of self-care has been defined as a process of establishing behaviors to ensure holistic wellness of oneness and to promote health and actively manage our stresses and our illnesses. And so that's the dictionary definition of it. So self-care actually was started, it originated in the medical field in the 1950s. Did you know that? And patients were advised to use various techniques and tools to help them recognize their value and their self-worth. So they cultivated and talked about this idea of self-care with developing healthy habits such as balanced diet and regular exercise to promote mental and physical health. But what we say in Ernest Holmes says, man's discovery of his ability to think, plan, and execute is this idea of our thoughts. So we move past this idea, although it's important to nurture this body temple, but nurturing our mind and our thoughts. So as thoughts hold energy and vibration, the positive God vibration is amplified by the law. And that is what we call our mental equivalent. So what you focus on, you get more of. So it's okay to do things like this, and I encourage it. But we also need to put things up here that cultivate this idea of wellness and self-care and self-love. So let's talk about self-love, because we have to move past self-care and step into self-love. We can't actually get to self-care until we get to self-love, right? Because we have to love ourselves first. We have to recognize who we are. We have to recognize that God within us, and we have to love that, whatever it might look like. Your physical body does not determine this light within you. And that didn't quite come out right. But what I'm trying to say is, regardless of what you look like on the outside, tall, short, whatever it is, there is this beautiful light of love within you that wants to come out. We are living God's life. And that life is a life of love. So it's crucial that we step into self-love for whatever, not allowing what society says. That's why this Pride Month is so important. Not allowing what society tells you you should look like, think like, dress like, be like, whatever it is. And embrace yourself for who you are and what you are and whose you are. That's important. That's important. Self-love is a mindset that we actively cultivate for our overall well-being. What are you telling yourself about yourself? What are you telling yourself about yourself? Are you cultivating self-love and then having that translate itself into self-care. Care for your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I know sometimes we may have heard that if you focus on self-loving, I love myself. We sing a song, I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. But if you say that in society, they might say, oh, she has a big ego, doesn't she? That's narcissistic. Or whatever words you've heard. But that's programming. And so we need to reprogram ourselves and love ourselves. Ernest Holmes says, I am perfect no matter what my appearance may be. I'm perfect no matter what my appearance might be. You're perfect no matter what your appearance might be. So we start cultivating that. And so self-care that turns into self-love is necessary, is key. And there is something, in this teaching, we give you practical tools that we ask you to work with. And one of those tools is meditation. And book studies and spiritual groups and things like that. But you should have something on your table right there. Does everybody have it? Does everybody have one? Because we're going to read that together. Because what I want you to understand is that no matter what you have heard about yourself, the way you should act, there is power in your mind. You are powerful. You are powerful. And you need to know that. Joe talked about magic. You're magical. So what we focus on, we get more of. So we focus on the good. I was talking to my granddaughter the other day, and she was like, is that a monster? And I said, a monster? Why does it have to be? Why don't you ever say, is that a unicorn? Is that a rainbow? Is that a fairy? Why do we always think about the negative? So I'm trying to cultivate and change that in them. That when they say something like that, I always take it to the positive. Let's not talk about what we can't do, but let's talk about what we can do. And that changes. I'm trying to change their psyche to go to the positive and not go to the negative. And I invite you to do the same thing. When something comes up, look at it as an opportunity for growth. An opportunity for growth. So, in closing, because I have decided that I'm going to be on vacation in another week. So I'm going to take these things and pack myself up and go to Florida. So my mind has actually been on vacation. But before we go, I want you to let's read this, because we always talk about spiritual practice. So part of that self-love and self-care is making sure that we do our spiritual practice. And someone may have said, Gilman, you need to meditate for an hour a day. Jean, you need to read this book, this spiritual book. So I don't want you to put limits and expectations on what you should be doing because you heard somebody say that this is the way you should be doing something, because that's also programming. So what I want to read with you together is, this is how we reprogram ourselves, and we start doing self-love, and we And that turns into self-care. So don't stress yourself out about what you coulda, shoulda, woulda did, and this is the way it looks like, and this is the way you need to do it, because this is the way it's been done for hundreds of years. I want you to do it the way you do it. What brings you joy, what excites you. Anchor yourself into those things that you love, and that's providing yourself with self-love and self-care. That turns into self-care. So let's read this together, because this is what I want you to know. So number 1 says, if you can't meditate, pause. Every sip of coffee. Stop right there. If you can't meditate, pause before every sip of coffee. Did you pause, Rick? Okay, number 2. If you can't pray, simply say thank you before every meal. Because sometimes we just can't get there. But if you can't pray, simply say thank you before every meal. And then I'm going to put it even further. If you can't pray, simply say thank you. Period. Number 3, if you can't manifest, enjoy what you already yours. That is gratitude, having gratitude for what you already have in your life. So if you can't manifest that which it is that you see out there, because sometimes that's also, you think you need to have that because somebody else has it. And if you can't manifest, enjoy what's already yours. Love that, and you'll see more coming. The next one says, if you can't journal, talk to yourself in your car. How many have been told that we need to journal? And you have a journal by your bed, or on your, wherever you want to sit and journal, but you can't seem to get anything in the book. I had that problem a lot. So what it comes out is like my gratitude journal. I'm grateful for this beautiful day, which is good. But if you can't journal because you're busy or whatever's going on in your life, then just talk to yourself in the car. Talk about what you're grateful for. Talk about those things that you want to say out loud to yourself. And it doesn't matter that it's, okay, so before cell phones, you would, I don't know about you, but I would be driving down the road and nobody was in the car, and that person would be going, and it didn't look like they were singing. So I was saying, oh, that person's talking to themselves. But now that we have cell phones, and sometimes if you have a most recent car, it comes through your radio, you could be talking. So just talk. Nobody's going to know what you're doing. So don't worry about the person next to you in the car saying, that person's cuckoo, they're talking to themselves. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in your car. Say loving things to yourself. Talk about what you'd like to achieve. Talk about what you'd like to do on vacation. Imagine what it would look like to be on vacation and talk about that. Talk to yourself. And so the next one says, there is no spiritual rule book, and that's what I want you to get. There's no spiritual rule book. Just show up for yourself in ways that make you feel good. Show up for yourself in ways that make you feel good, and that is self-love, which translates into self-care. I have this, I think she's 85, her name is Robbie. Her motto, she even has a pen that says, just show up. So I'm going to tell you again, just show up for yourself in ways that make you feel good. And thank you for listening.
Wise words, wise words. And Sonja, would you stay there for a second? Because I made a mistake and I need to apologize. Because you have in front of you somebody brand new. This is the Reverend Sonja Prince. Come on, give her some love. Come on, she graduated last week. Somebody brand new.
Hey, David, do you have it? I'm asking. Look. Oh, boy. All right, so that's my husband and my two granddaughters that I always talk about, Nyla and Zara. And that was the graduation that happened on Sunday in Seaside at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And so what that translates into is a certificate in consciousness studies and a master's degree in spiritual consciousness from the School of Spiritual Leadership and Holmes Institute. So it's two things. So thank you.
If I could reach the stars, I'd pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth. This love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams that I can change the world. Dancing in the sunlight in the universe, show you that this love is really something good. Maybe if I could change the world. If I could be a king, even for a day,
Al Yankee, everybody. Changing the world, one song at a time.
That's right. I got to get t-shirts made to say that.
That's right. So I invite you to take a deep breath. And then I invite you to do this. Hug yourself. How does that feel? Feel you're not hugging yourself. Gilman, you're not hugging yourself. David and Iris, you're not hugging yourself. David, hug yourself. He's hugging the computer. It feels so good to be loved and love yourself. That's your the first commandment should be love yourself. Because when you do that, you're loving that God within. You're loving all parts of you. You love, and it can change the chemistry of your body. Does anybody believe that? Speak to that pain, speak to that discomfort, love it. Maybe that's all it's been waiting for, is for you to recognize it and love it. So, who wants to make a pledge that they're going to hug themselves every day? Thank you. So now it's time for our conscious giving. So I invite you to consider that the same portal from which you give from is indeed the same portal from which you receive. So let us expand ourselves and become bigger and bolder givers. That way we will expand ourselves and become bigger and bolder receivers. There is a reciprocal energy in this universe. As we give, so do we receive. So I invite you to place your tithe, offering, and gifts over your heart. As we do the affirmation together, and David will put it on the screen. All right. So let's say this together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Thank you for giving. Thank you for receiving. And thank you for being who you are. Thank you for breathing. And thank you for believing. And thank you for being who you are. The universe is flowing with love that's ever growing. And you are a vessel of that love. So thank you for caring, and bless you for your sharing. And thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being who you are.
And I bless these tithes and gifts and offerings, knowing that they are sufficient to cover the needs of CSL Redlands, which is a successful idea in the mind of God. How good it is to speak this word and know the truth now, and we affirm it by saying, and so it is. Thank you. Can I have a little music? He's going to play a little music while I transform myself into getting ready for 2 weeks of self-care and self-love in Florida. You know, one of the things that we talked about at the graduation is the support. So I want to thank CSL Redlands for supporting me as I went through classes and things like that, and workshops, and retreats and studies and, and sometimes some things didn't get done because, you get busy. And one of the things that also is our families. So one of the things they wanted to bring our attention to, which we know, but your family is the closest thing to you. And so they're the ones that often gets neglected when you're doing certain things like this. So I want to thank my family, and I want to thank my community and all of you who stuck by me as I went through classes and all the things that is required. So thank you. But I want to bring our attention back to this idea of self-love and self-care. And so I invite you to take a deep breath and just kind of go within. And so I recognize today in you and in me that power, that presence, that is God, the living Spirit Almighty, living and breathing us. And I imagine this circle. And in this circle, the outer circumference of the circle is all spirit encompassed in there. But right in the center of that is you and me and everything else. And so by visualizing that, we know that we are contained in the body and the mind of God, of spirit. And that means that everything that God is, I am. And everything that God is, you are. Made manifest right here and right now in the form of you and in the form of me. And so I am living that life of God, and I recognize it, and I invite you to recognize that you are living God's life. So when you do what you love, when you smile and you have joy and happiness and laughter, and you care and love yourself, you are loving that God within. You are loving this temple, this body of God that you are. And so I just encourage you to know that for yourself and act from that place of knowing, that place of knowledge. So that's why I ask you to hug yourself. And recognize who and whose you are. The individualized expression of God. That no matter what you look like, no matter what you've been told, the truth of you is that you are expressing as God. The mountain doesn't have trouble being the mountain. The flowers don't have trouble being the flowers. The birds don't have trouble being the birds. So don't you get caught up in what someone else's idea of you is. You be you, that beautiful, glorious expression of the one, power and presence, that is God. And knowing that, and anchoring in that, knowing. And David, if you'll put our other affirmation on, our mantra. And if you could open up your eyes and say this together, because this is the truth. Is everybody ready? Let's say this together. Anything and everything that has heretofore blocked, hindered, deferred, denied, or delayed our highest and best good in regards to receiving our abundance and supply has no power and is released back to the nothingness from which it came and is replaced with the truth that God is at hand now as our divine source, supply and sufficiency now. And that is in everything, not only supply, it is in divine right relationships. It is in all of your affairs. All of your affairs. It is in everything. Your career, your goals, everything that you want for yourself. God is in the center of it all. Nothing can keep you from your good. So know that for yourself. And let's affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
I used to think I'd always be alone, separate, and misunderstood. I spent my days in quiet desperation, but on the outside, things looked good. Then I discovered the error of my thinking, the lie at the base of all my fears. So simple that it turned my world around. Why take? Where'd the rattling go? Shake 'em. So many years. Now I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. I am loving with my heart wide open. Walking with my eyes wide open. I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. Loving with my heart wide open. I am walking with my eyes wide open, wide open. There is no separation, no matter what it looks like. There is no separation, no matter what they say. No separation except what I imagine. And I imagine separation's gone away. Now I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. I am loving with my heart wide open. I am walking with my eyes wide. Sing it like you mean it. I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. I am loving with my heart wide open. Walking with my eyes wide open, wide open, wide open. All right, go make it a great week.
All right.